3DO.
Hello, Player 3 here, yet again taking a look at a game recommended in the comments, which so happens to be a game I already own, and have had for a long time since I used to play as a kid. That's right, it's Army Men. Army Men was released in 1998 on Windows, but we need to go a few years back, 60 years in fact, to the creation of the first plastic toy soldier. In 1938, the first plastic toy soldiers were produced by Bergen Toy and Novelty Company, created in 1932 as Markak Toy and Novelty Company by husband and wife Charles and Elise Markak, changing the name in 1936, switching to cellulose acetate having been formerly made of lead. These new plastic toys were hailed for being non-poisonous and non-breakable. These Beton toys, short for Bergen Toy and Novelty Company, were often seen packaged in boxes of Lincoln Logs, the green plastic soldier line of toys being green to match the US olive drab uniforms of World War II. By the time the Korean War broke out in 1950, Beton had redesigned their plastic soldiers a year prior, but were losing sales to more realistic toy soldiers such as the ones made by Ideal. Kids at the time wanted to recreate the battles they would hear about on the news. Beton was now relying mostly on the sales of their animal and circus toy figures, inevitably forced to sell the company to Banner Plastic Corps in 1957, which then sold its company to Talcor in 1967, as the Vietnam War wasn't looked on as highly upon and toy soldier sales plummeted. Though during the Korean War era, there were more than just Beton and Ideal selling plastic toy soldiers. Another company, Lewis Marks and Company, though not much of a competition to Beton plastic soldiers at the time, would go on to form Plastic Soldiers as we know them. Founded in 1919 by Lewis Marks, Marks would become a tycoon in the industry, being heralded by Time magazine as the Toy King. Having made such recognizable toys as the Big Wheel and Rock'em Sock'em Robots, during the mid-1960s, Marks created enemies for the green United States plastic soldiers and sold them in play sets. German soldiers molded in gray and Japanese in yellow. Allied forces such as the French in blue and British in khaki were made as well. In 1972, Lewis Marks sold the company to the Quaker Oats Company, which owned Fisher-Price, then himself retiring at the age of 76. Quaker Oats hoped the two brands would blend well, but began to struggle with the Marks brand, eventually liquidating the brand in 1980. In 1991, Bill McMaster founded BMC Toys, and began producing historically themed plastic soldier playsets using the molds used by Lewis Marks and Company, calling the toys Classic Army Men, which now brings us to 3DO. The company behind the original Army Men games was founded in the same year as BMC Toys. 3DO created their own game console in 1993, costing way more than any console should ever cost. After the death of that overpriced, short-lived console, 3DO was looking to make a war game, but was mindful of how Germany would perceive it. Knowing Europe made up about half of their sales, and Germany's extremely strict rating board, they debated on how realistic to make their game, since Germany cracked down on Command and Conquer, making them change their units into robots to tone down the violence for their German release. But we didn't want to have to do two versions, and very early on in the design process, we'd been planning things out with little plastic army men. So we suddenly realized that this was what everyone always likens a game like this to anyways. So it was just the most natural idea in the world to keep it that way. We'll animate them realistically, but they'll be plastic. Then coming up with an entire story, an entire war, the setting revolving around this war with enemy forces, mainly the tan, but also gray and blue. Later introducing red, orange, and black factions, and two further in Army Men Toys in Space. Army Men was showcased in 1997 at the E3 conference in Atlanta, 2 years after the release of the first Toy Story movie, which featured little green Army Men. That, coupled with BMC's resurgence of the Army Men playsets, must have been a huge stimulant for the game upon release. But before we see how it did, I have to play this blast from the past and see if it still holds up to my childhood memories. This sure brings back memories. I never played through this game in its entirety. Seemingly marketed more towards kids, I wouldn't expect it to be that difficult to get through. But we'll see. Most of my Army Men nostalgia harks back to the second game, where you traverse different rooms in a house. I remember mostly the kitchen and crossing the stovetop burners and shooting cockroaches. I don't think I played beyond the second game, though I do own the full war chest of Army Men games. I do remember this though, the opening newsreels and then the boot camp, and boy oh boy did I need this boot camp. I never remember the controls being so bizarre as a kid. Same with World War II GI, also not using the mouse for its keyboard controls. But going back to this control configuration now after years of a mouse and WASD, this is really fucking weird. Here's the typical layout. Though I changed a few controls in the custom tab, 90% of it I kept the same here. It just took a bit to get used to again. Placing your right hand on the number pad, this is where the most of the movement controls lie. Instead of WASD for forward, left, back, and right, it's 8, 4, 6, and 2 on the number pad. You can roll left or right with 7 and 9, dive with slash, and kneel and prone with 5. So all of that with your right hand on the number pad. Then firing was with the left hand, using Z and X to rotate your body left and right to aim. Or using 4 and 6 with your right hand works too, but Z and X are for smaller, more focused adjustments. Firing the gun itself was the spacebar. Not clicking it, no, but the release. That may have been the weirdest thing to get used to. You learn why it makes sense for this game through boot camp, mostly for grenades and mortars, holding down spacebar while the distance you aim for toggles, then release when you are ready to fire, but it's still really weird. 1, 2, and 3 are to toggle between the weapons you hold, then every F key does something too. That's just about everything there is. Of those 1, 2, and 3 weapon slots, 1 is the main gun, 2 is the secondary, and 3 is the special weapons. Certain weapons fall into which slot they can be placed, such as if you have a mortar and slot 2, the secondary weapon slot, is taken up by said mortar, and you find a bazooka, you can't hold it. You'd need to drop the mortars first. But what's really stupid is if you have 3 mines and then you go to pick up more mines. But you have to drop the mines you have in order to pick up these new mines, which may only have 5 or less in it. And it just won't add them together. I really hate that. Anyways, boot camp done. Time for some action. There are 3 main areas. As the intro video explains, the 3 fronts from which the Tan forces are invading: the desert in the west, the Alpine in the north, and the Bayou in the south. The Alpine and Bayou are grayed out, so we start in the desert. Within the desert are 4 further areas: Cactus Flats, Mesa Valley, Casa Plastica, and Winding Canyon. Within those areas are a few missions. All are grayed out except for Weapon Run, the first mission in Cactus Flats, so we'll start there. Alright, we are Sarge and here's our first mission. From hearing the orders, there are coordinates we need to get to. On the mini-map in the HUD, it's laid out in a grid A through F on the X-axis and 1 through 6 on the Y. I'm starting at E1 and need to get to B2. Not too far. Okay, and fairly easy so far. These hitboxes are a little wonky though. Ooh, look at all this stuff. Oh, I'm done already. Oh, this is gonna be a quick game if all the missions are like this. I retract that statement. Oh, he can hit me, but I can't hit him. Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh my god, they just keep coming. And they don't stop coming. Oh, hey, the blue guy. I forgot. Oh, what the hell is this? The key to a newly discovered weapon is at a Tan base. Location will be given to you later. Yeah, if that guy I just killed was the blue courier this message is for, he really dropped the ball on this one. I feel like he could have burned this message after reading it. Whatever. Wait, the key. Is that... Oh, hold on a minute. What are those called again? Tinker Toys. The keys are Tinker Toys. Oh, yeah. Okay. Spoiler alert, I suppose. Like I said, never beat this first game. I vaguely remember the intro to the second one, but they use portals to enter the real world. The Tinker Toys are the keys to making the portal. Got it. Carry on. Okay, last mission in Cactus Flats. Retrieve a stolen tank and head to Mesa Valley, the next area. Damn, this is some of the best stuff in the game. Driving the vehicles, specifically the tanks. Alright, Mesa Valley. Okay, but this is some of the worst stuff. Dealing with the enemy tanks. It knows. The easiest way to kill us isn't the gun. That takes too long to load another round. But running us over? Oh, that's the most efficient way to do it. This is so dumb.
Green. Attack. This is Sarge. Requesting an airstrike. Over. Requesting an airstrike. Over. Requesting an airstrike. Over.
Sarge is dead.
I hate this game. So, Casa Plastica. I gotta sneak through this tan base to get to my squad waiting for me with a half-track. Easy enough. Oh, first I gotta shout out my narrator, or whatever his rank is, whoever that's delivering me my missions is, going off script to tell me how good I'm doing.
Magnificent piece of work, Sarge. You have the key.
Thank you. You're too kind, sir. Okay, Operation Stealth. Or not, I probably just alerted the whole base. They clearly know I'm coming now. Whatever. Oh, hold up. Oh my god. Don't move. Oh, there's no way he didn't see me. Are all the tanks like T-Rexes? Are they sentient? Like how? Alright, I made it to the boys. Now let's rob a bank. Kelly's Heroes style. Oh god, more tanks. Okay, I need to do some recon first. I can't even stop just one of them once they're already on us. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, never mind, I forgot about this side. Alright, I can't block off our escape though, but that's gotta be all the tanks now. All the ways they can come in. Now I just gotta wait for them to load the truck. What the hell was... Are you serious? Where are they all coming from? How am I supposed to deal with all these stupid fucking tanks? I'd rather just play with the toys at this point. They're more fun. God. Okay. Can I just skip this? Okay, I can. Abort mission, and then I can move on to the next one. Nice. Maybe I'll try that one again later, but that was terrible. Okay, why are all the missions now just extremely difficult and nigh impossible? What changed? Did I just suddenly become terrible at games? Like I said before, this was meant for kids, right? If you lose, your punishments are doing the dishes, slipping in poop, or peeling potatoes. Okay, I'm getting too worked up. Let's slow it down. No more tanks, please, though. Well, let's try another front. Alpine. Okay, how? Why? Seriously? So let's try the Bayou. Okay, now I gotta eliminate the AA gun. I'm not an aircraft. Why is it vaporizing me wherever I go? Ah, that's because it is yet another tank. There's always another tank. Okay, I made it to town. Why is the mission not ending? Do I need... Oh! Colonel! Come here. Okay, almost there now. I gotta make it to the cemetery. Oh, hell no, I do not want to go that way. Can I sneak around? I can. Good. Okay, the portal's gotta be in the cemetery somewhere. Holy shit, they keep coming. Are they zombies? What is this? Where's this portal, too? I need to find it. Oh, it's getting bad. Okay, ooh. The statue's glowing. Alright, let's blow it up. Okay, I blew it up. What now? Oh, the portal's not in here. Okay, let's try out here. Hello, portal. And that's it. Setting up the franchise for part 2 in the real world. So how did it do on release? Well, it looks like the reviews were mixed. I completely understand that. Most of the reviews seem to be between 4 and 7.5 out of 10. For me, my rating does fall into that range, albeit the lower half. I'm giving Army Men a 5.25 out of 10. That's lower than I expected. Before tackling this game again, I would have speculated being around 7 out of 10. But I guess that was my nostalgia talking. I guess in the same vein as Never Meet Your Heroes, the same goes for nostalgia. At least with video games. During the time, and as a kid, they must have seemed great. But it kinda ruined that image going back on it. I'm kinda hesitant to play Army Men 2 now, because I feel the nostalgia will be ruined playing it. If you can follow me here, it's a bit different with movies. You can go back and watch an old movie, and it might still hold up. But with video games, it's tougher to find one that stands the test of time. The first feature-length movie was in 1906. So, say you're nostalgic for a movie made 40 years ago, that's 1984 from today. There were some great movies that still hold up. Ghostbusters, Karate Kid, Beverly Hills Cop, the list goes on. So those came out 78 years after the first feature-length film, The Story of the Kelly Gang. But video games, they haven't been around nearly as long. Pong wasn't the first video game, but it's considered the first commercially successful video game. Army Men came out 26 years after that. That would be the equivalent of seeing a movie in 1932. The Sign of the Cross would be an example. It's better than the first feature-length film in 1906, but then go forward 26 years to 1958, the same time span from 1998 to now, and compare The Sign of the Cross to South Pacific. See what I'm saying? There's a huge jump in quality and probably everything, like games from then to now. Anyways, sorry about that rant there. I guess I needed to just justify my ruined nostalgia. So, 5.25 out of 10. That'll put Army Men 19th overall for all the games I've played in this series so far. First in its genre category, as this is the first real-time tactics game I've played, another game from 1998, putting that year back on top as having the most games I've played being from that year, and being my second favorite game I've played on Windows so far. The Genesis still being my most frequently played on. All in all, not a bad game, but not great. The story being the best part of the game. That part I can say for certain that I loved. For just about everything else, 3DO definitely had some work to do after that one. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you have any game recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll enjoy what I have in store. That's all for now. See you next time.